Hello everyone, today we will study a very important topic of measurement, that is bridge measurement. Here we will study DC and AC bridges. These bridges are very widely used for the measurement purpose. They can measure resistors, inductors and capacitor values, and they are very popular because they have high accuracy, they have high sensitivity, and they can measure wide range of quantities. So let's start our topic. Hello everyone, welcome to PRV solution. Today we will study bridge measurement. Bridges are widely used in the measurement of components such as resistors, capacitor and inductors. They are designed to have 4 arms with a very sensitive galvanometer connected between 2 points and the supply at the other 2 points. So in bridge circuits we have 4 arms. At 2 arm we will connect our galvanometer, and at the another 2 points we will connect our supply. Third is, bridges owe their popularity due to high accuracy, high sensitivity and the ability to measure a wide range of quantities. They have high accuracy, high sensitivity, so they are very popular for measurement, and they can also measure wide range of quantities. And the last point, bridges may be DC and AC depending on the component that make up the bridge arms and the kind of current used to energize them. So we have to study two types of bridge here, DC and AC. In case of DC bridges we will apply DC source, and in case of AC bridges we will apply AC source. And DC bridges are used to measure only resistance, while AC bridges can measure resistance, inductance as well as the capacitance. In the case of a DC source, the bridges can be used in the measurement of resistance. I already explained it. In the case of AC source, it could be used in the measurement of both resistance and reactance. Reactance may have inductive reactance or capacitive reactance due to capacitors or inductors connected in any of the arms of the bridge. Typical example of DC bridge is the Wheatstone bridge, while example of AC bridges are the Maxwell bridge, Owens bridge, Wiens bridge, de Sauty bridge, Hayes bridge and Skring bridges. So this is the circuit diagram for the bridge. Here a circuit consists of network of 4 arms, resistance arms, forming a closed circuit with a DC source of current applied at 2 opposite junction. So here we will apply DC source at this B and D terminals, and a current detector. It may be galvanometer connected to the other 2 junction. So bridge instruments are classified as DC bridges and AC bridges. DC bridges are resistance used for resistance measurement, where examples of DC bridges are Wheatstone bridge, Kelvin bridge and Mega Ohm bridge, while AC bridges can be used for measurement of capacitance as well as inductive reactance. So for capacitance measurement we will use capacitance comparison bridge, Skring bridge and Wien bridge, while for calculation of inductive reactance we can use inductance comparison bridge, Maxwell bridge, Hay bridge and Owens bridge. So first type of bridge is DC bridge, and DC bridge are used for measurement of resistance. So we will use here 3 types of DC bridge. First is Wheatstone bridge. This is our Wheatstone bridge. Here we can see that at A and C DC voltage source is applied or connected, and at D and B a current detector circuit is connected. Kelvin's bridge is shown in second figure and mega ohm bridge is also shown here. So we have to measure resistance by using these three types of bridge circuits. These are only DC bridges. Wheatstone bridge. A Wheatstone bridge is an electrical circuit used to measure an unknown electrical resistance by balancing two legs of a bridge circuit, one leg of which includes the unknown components. So in this case we have 4 arms and we have to balance the bridge for measuring the component value. It was invented by Samuel Hunter Christie in 1833 and improved and popularized by Sir Charles Wheatstone in 1843. The Wheatstone bridge circuit is the most accurate method of measuring resistance and is used very widely wherever an accurate measurement is required. So DC bridge consists of two parallel resistance branches with each branch containing two series resistors. So here we have these two arms, arm AC at which R1 and R3 are in parallel with R2 and R4. A DC voltage source is connected across network to provide a source of current through the resistance, and a galvanometer or null detector circuit is connected between parallel branches to detect a condition of balance. It is suitable for resistance value of 1 ohm to 10 mega ohm. Now we will derive its mathematical equations. At balance condition, no current flows through the galvanometer. Therefore, I1 R1 is equal to I2 R2. It implies I1 is equal to I3 and I2 is equal to I4. So this value I1 R1 is equal to I2 R2 and this I3 R3 is equal to I4 R4. Because when no current passes through this galvanometer, so what happen? This I1 becomes equal to I3. All current will flow from A to D and D to C, and similarly from A to B and B to C. So I2 becomes equal to I4. That is this condition. So now voltage drop across R1. We will use here voltage divider circuit. We have to find the voltage across R1, which is equal to V into R1 divided by R1 plus R3. Similarly, we can find a voltage drop across R2, V into R2 divided by R2 plus R4. This R1 plus R3. This is the voltage drop condition at balancing. So after some calculation, we can get condition for balancing the bridge, which is equal to R1 R4 must be equal to R2 R3. Product of R1 and R4 must be equal to R2 and R3. Means opposite arm product must be equal to another opposite arm product of the Wheatstone bridge. Next is sensitivity of a Wheatstone bridge. Sensitivity when the bridge is in unbalanced condition, current flows through the galvanometer causing the deflection of pointers. Because we are connected here with galvanometer, and when the Wheatstone bridge is unbalanced, then there is some deflection of the pointers. The amount of deflection is a function of sensitivity of the galvanometer. Deflection depends upon the sensitivity of the galvanometer. Sensitivity is deflection per unit current. See, this is the definition. What is sensitivity? Sensitivity is deflection per unit current, and it can be expressed in linear or angular unit of measure. So, sensitivity is millimeter by microampere, degree by microampere, or radians microamperes. So, total deflection of the pointer is given by this term. D is equal to sensitivity of Wheatstone bridge multiplied with current, microampere. Thevenin's theorem. Thevenin's theorem for linear electrical networks states that any combination of voltage source, current source and resistors with two terminals is electrically equivalent to a single voltage source V Thevenin and a single series resistors R Thevenin. So, we will see in next slide how we can calculate Thevenin resistance and Thevenin voltage. For a single frequency AC systems, the theorems can also be applied to a general impedance, not just resistors. So, if we have a single frequency AC system, we can apply this theorem to also, but the condition is we must have single frequency AC. The theorem was first discovered by German scientist Hermann von Helmholtz in 1853, but was then rediscovered in 1883 by French telegraph engineer Leon Charles Thevenin 1857 to 1926. So, he was the great scientist. You also, I think you also have studied it in your previous semesters. Now, unbalanced Wheatstone bridge means here galvanometer is showing some deflection. So, we will use Thevenin theorem here to find out the equivalent circuit of this Wheatstone bridge. Thevenin's equivalent voltage. For calculation of Thevenin equivalent voltage, we will open this galvanometer. We will open this galvanometer. We have here 2 points at A and B. So, potential at this point and potential at this point. So, we will get AB, which is equal to potential difference at point A and potential difference at point B, that is VAB, which is equal to V Thevenin. It is given by the voltage divider rule. We can get its value E multiplied with R3 divided by R1 plus R3 minus R4 divided by R2 plus R4. So, this is the Thevenin equivalent voltage VTH for the given circuit. For calculation of Thevenin's equivalent resistance R Thevenin, we will short this voltage source, means resistance of this voltage source becomes now 0, and we will find the Thevenin equivalent resistance between the terminals A and B. So, this is that voltage source which is shorted of resistance 0 ohm, and hence we have R1 and R3 in parallel with R2 and R4. So, R Thevenin can be calculated. This combination is in series with this combination, means two parallel combination in series with each other, and so the Thevenin equivalent resistance is this one. If a galvanometer is connected to terminal A and B, the deflection current is the current through the galvanometer. So, this C and D we are connected here galvanometer. So, value of this galvanometer current is this V Thevenin divided by R Thevenin plus Rg, where Rg is the internal resistance of the galvanometer. So, in this way we can calculate the value of the galvanometer current by using Thevenin's equivalent circuit for the Wheatstone bridge. So, measurement error. So, what are different errors that can occur in this Wheatstone bridge? First is the limiting error of the known resistance. You know the limiting error which are specified by the manufacturer for the resistors which have different uncertainty, 10%, 20%, 5%. Then second error is insufficient sensitivity of detector. Detector may be not properly sensitive to the current. Change in resistance of the bridge arms due to the heating effect. Sometimes resistance change when current flows through it due to heating effect, so it will also create errors in the measurement. Thermal EMF or contact potential in the bridge circuit, it will also another source of errors. And the last is error due to the lead connection. Leads also have some resistance, so they will also create errors in the measuring of the resistance in the Wheatstone bridge. Now we will see what happen when there is slightly unbalanced condition present in the Wheatstone bridge. If 3 of the 4 resistors in a bridge are equal to R and the fourth differs by 5% or less, we can develop an approximate but accurate expression for Thevenin's equivalent voltage and resistance. So this is the condition. What is the Thevenin value of the voltage source and resistance when we have our bridge is unbalanced or slightly or only slightly unbalanced. So here V Thevenin value will comes out to approximately equal to E cross del R divided by 4R. And how we can calculate this? V Thevenin is equal to VAB. We have to calculate this V Thevenin, which is equal to the by the rule of potential divider, we can get its value E R plus delta R plus R plus delta R minus R divided by R plus R is equal to E delta R divided by 4R plus 2 delta R. This 2 delta R can be neglected as its value is very small. So we will get this expression E Thevenin, E delta R divided by 4R. For finding the R Thevenin, we will use following expression. R Thevenin is equal to R cross R divided by R plus R cross R divided by R plus R. We are not taking here delta R because its value is very small as compared to this R. So we have here R Thevenin value comes out to be R always. So this is the equivalent circuit of the unbalanced bridge, which has slightly unbalanced condition, which is an approximate Thevenin's equivalent circuit. Next bridge is Kelvin's bridge. It is also used for measurement purpose of the resistance. This is the modified version of the Wheatstone bridge to eliminate the effect of contact and lead resistance when measuring unknown low resistance. Basically, this bridge is used for measurement of the low resistance that is less than 1 ohm. So this term here RK represent here lead or contact resistance, and this lead and contact resistance have effect for on the measurement of our resistance. So how we can find the accurate value of resistance by using this bridge? Here the condition for balance is this Rx by R2, this one, and R3 by R1 must be equal to RB by RA. At point, so this is our lead through which we will balance our bridge. This lead we will slide this lead from M to N points. that is MP and PN points. So how we can calculate the resistance here? So at point N is this point, Ry is added to a known resistance Rx. This Rx we will add this lead resistance to here Ry, Rx plus Ry here, and if our lead is at point M, then this Ry is added to this R3. So we know that the product of opposite arm of the resistance must be equal to product of other opposite arm of the Wheatstone bridge, that is R2 Rx is equal to R1 R3, but here Rx becomes Rx plus Rnp. This is the, if our lead is at this point N, this will becomes Rx plus Rnp is equal to R1 into R3 plus Rmp if our leads is at point M. So this product R2 into Rx must be equal to, this means R2 Rx must be equal to this R1 into R3 plus Rmp. So after some calculation we will get the values for balance condition is this is the final value for balance condition. This R1 by R2 must be equal to Rnp by Rmp. This one R1 divided by R2 must be equal to Rnp divided by Rmp, the lead resistance. Next bridge is mega ohm bridge. As the name suggests, it is used for finding the value of the very high resistances of the order of mega ohm. So high resistance measurements are affected by shunt leakage resistance. So what will be the problem with for measurement of high resistance? In case of high resistance, we must include the effect of insulation of the resistance or insulating material, and whenever current pass through this high ohm resistance, then the current will not only flow through the resistance, but it also flow through the body, which is known as surface leakage current. And due to this surface leakage current, we are not able to find the accurate value of the high resistance. Suppose we want to measure this Rx, which is very high resistance. So here surface current will pass, which is also known as leakage current. So what we will do, we will guard it, that is at this terminal we will guard this leakage current through resistances R2 and R1, so that this leakage current will goes to ground. So this terminal is actually guard terminal is also known as ground terminal. We will minimize this leakage current by connecting this leakage current to guard terminal. The guard terminal is connected to a bridge corner such that the leakage resistance are placed across bridge arm with low resistances. So these are the condition. R1 in parallel with RC approximately becomes RC, R2 in parallel with RG approximately becomes RG, because R1 is very greater than RC and R2 is very greater than RG, because these three values are always very high in case of mega ohm bridge, in the order of mega ohms. And the value of the unknown resistance we can calculate Ra Rc by Rb, which is same as Wheatstone bridge, but only here the difference is that we have these extra high resistances, and the use of these resistances are to minimize the leakage current or leakage resistance. So in this way we can calculate high resistance value from the mega ohm bridge. AC bridge. Now we will study AC bridge. So we can see here this is an AC bridge. Here resistances are replaced by the impedances. So AC bridge is used for the reactance measurement. It can be inductive reactance or capacitive reactance. Here all arms are considered as impedance, while in case of DC bridges we have resistances in the arms. Here source is an AC voltage at any desired frequency, and at balance condition similarly in Wheatstone bridge we have I1 R1 here and I2 R2 here. We have here I1 Z1 is equal to I2 Z2, which means that I1 is equal to the I3. This is the I3 current, and this I2 equals to the I4 when detector shows null detection here, null deflection here. So at balance we have I1 is equal to V upon Z1 plus Z3 and I2 is equal to V upon Z2 plus Z4. Its complex form is shown in the figure. Here this is the complex form of the impedances for balance. We have in polar form Z1 product of Z1 Z4 is equal to Z2 Z3, means opposite arm product. This Z1 Z4 must be equal to Z2 and Z3 product. In polar form we will take its angle, impedance angle also. So theta 1 is the angle for Z1, theta 4 angle for the Z4, and theta 2 is angle for Z2 and theta 3 angle for Z3, where Z1 is the magnitude of the impedance and theta is the angle of the impedances. Now we will study capacitance measurement using AC bridges. Capacitance measurement, the first bridge we will study here, de Sotis bridge. It is the simplest method of finding out the value of a unknown capacitor in terms of a known standard capacitor. So we have here two capacitors which are connected at different arms, C1 and C2. R3 and R4 are the variables. In both of these capacitors, one capacitor is variable. So at balance we have this R4, this product of these impedances, means C1 impedance is 1 by j omega C1 and impedance of this arm CD is R4. This product impedance must be equal to this product impedance. So at balance we will get these condition, and from here we have these variables, the values which are known, R3, R4 and C2. Then we can calculate C1. If C1 is C1 is known, then we can calculate C2. So this is the simplest bridge for capacitance measurement, but this bridge is only used for capacitors which have low losses. The second bridge we have to study is capacitance comparison bridge, or it is also known as modified de Sotis bridge. It is used for measurement of capacitors having inherent dielectric losses, while simple de Sotis bridge is only used for capacitor which has low losses. Then we have to study this third bridge, Skring bridge, which is used for the precise measurement of capacitance. And there is difference between the structure. Here Rx and Cx are in series, which are unknown capacitance, and this R3 C3 is also in the series, but here R1 and C1 are in parallel. Capacitance comparison bridge or modified de Sotis bridge. So as I told you, this bridge is used for the measurement of capacitor which has dielectric losses. So here is the calculation part or balance condition part of the bridge. So Z1 this is the Z1 is equal to R2, this is the Z2 is equal to Z1 is equal to R1 and Z2 is equal to R2. Z3 is R3 in series with C3, this R3 is in series with C3. So R3 is simply we will take its magnitude, and C3 is reactance is minus J by omega C3. Similarly, we can have this combination Rx in series with Cx, and which we have to calculate value of this Rx and Cx. We want to calculate these values Rx and Cx. The condition for balance opposite arm impedance product must be equal to this opposite arm impedance product. So putting these values, we will get here some real part and some imaginary part. So equating real part, we will get Rx, which is equal to R2 R3 by R1, and from imaginary part we will get this Cx, R1 C3 divided by R2. So this is the value for unknown capacitance and resistance for the circuit. Rx is the internal resistance of your capacitor. Here we will calculate the dissipation factor. So what is dissipation factor? Dissipation factor is given as the tangent of delta 1. Tangent of delta 1, we can calculate it I1 R1 divided by me. This is our resistive arm voltage, and this is our capacitive arm voltage. So here we will get omega C1 R1, and D2 for second capacitor dissipation factor is omega C2 R2. If we will find out the difference, we will have D2 minus D1, which is equal to the angular frequency C1 R1 minus C2 R2. Putting this value, let this is C1. In this equation, we will get D2 minus D1 is equal to omega C2 multiplied with R1 R4 by R3 minus R2. So we have an important conclusion here. Dissipation factor for one capacitor can be estimated if dissipation factor of the other capacitor is known. So suppose we have any of these value, either we have the value of D2 or D1. Other parameters can be calculated from these terms, these equations. Then we can easily calculate dissipation factor of the unknown capacitors. This is the advantage of this bridge. So advantage of modified DSOT bridge are given. Rx and Cx are independent of frequency as they do not have omega in their calculation term. They are independent of each other. Rx will not depend upon Cx and Cx will not depend upon Rx. Sources need not to be pure sine wave here. The third bridge which is used for measurement of capacitor is screen bridge. Screen bridges are most popularly used in industries for measurement of capacitance, dissipation factors and loss angles. So this is the circuit for screen bridge. Here it is the unknown capacitance which we want to measure, and it has one another arm in which R1 is in parallel with C1. So here Y1, what is Y1? Y1 is the admittance, which is the inverse of the impedance. So R1 inverse is 1 by R1, and this C1 capacitor's admittance is J omega C1. So this is the admittance of this arm, and Z2 is R2, Z3 is C3's impedance, while Z4 is or Zx is Rx minus J upon omega Cx. So similarly the case, we will calculate value of this Rx and Cx by balancing the bridge. Whenever the bridge is balanced, the product of these two arms impedance equal to the product of these two arms impedance. Z1 Zx is equal to Z2 Z3. So Z1, so 1 by Z1 is equal to the admittance of Z1. So by some calculation we will get these values Rx from the real part of this equation, R2 C1 by C3, and Cx can be calculated from the imaginary part of this equation, R1 R2 C3. So in this way we can calculate values of capacitance using the screening bridge. The dissipation factor of a series RC circuit or series RC is given as dissipation factor is nothing but it is the inverse of the quality factor, where Q is quality factor. So quality factor here we can explain here. A high quality capacitor means high Q factor will thus have low value of dissipation factor and loss tangent, that is less losses. So if this dissipation factor is very high, as it is inversely proportional to quality factor, then Q factor or quality factor is very high. So a high value of the quality factors are required. So quality factor and dissipation factor are the inverse of each other. So in this way it will also represent, this dissipation will also represent or indicates the quality factor for the capacitor, and it is defined as ratio of the voltage across the resistive part and to the voltage across the inductive or capacitive part, which is equal to the omega Cx Rx. So in this way we can also calculate the dissipation factor or quality factor of the capacitor by using this screening bridge. So here we will study advantage and disadvantage of screening bridge. Advantage: in this type of bridge the value of capacitance can be measured accurately. So it is used for accurate measurement of the capacitor value. Second, it can measure capacitance value over a wide range. Third is it can measure dissipation factor accurately, as we have calculated in this slide. The dissipation factor is omega Cx Rx, and Cx Rx can be calculated from here, Cx and Rx. Disadvantage of this bridge is it requires two capacitors, and variable standard capacitor is costly as compared to simple capacitor, because this bridge requires variable capacitor, it is costly. So these are the disadvantage of our screening bridge. Next bridge is Wien bridge. Wien bridge is very important because it is used for the measurement of the frequencies. So measure frequency of the voltage source using series RC in one arm and parallel RC in adjoining arm. Here RC is in series and here RC in parallel. So it contains one arm in which RC is in series and one RC in parallel, and these arms are adjoining arm. So we can calculate the frequency by using the balancing of the bridge. This is the balance condition for the given bridge. These are the product of these two arms, means R4 product with this arm, these two things, and these two equation R3 in product with this arm, AC arm. So after some calculation we will get here some real part and imaginary part comparison. You can calculate it from the slide. Equating real and imaginary parts, we get C2 R1 R4 is equal to C2 R2 R3 plus C1 R1 R3, and we get this equation from the real part, and from the imaginary part we will get this R3 is equal to omega square C1 C2 R1 R2 R3. We have to calculate this omega is angular frequency. So we will get this term, this expression, which is the required frequency of the source. So in this way we can measure frequency of voltage source using RC in one arm and parallel RC in adjoining arm. So this is about the Wien bridge, through which we can calculate our frequency. In this slide we will measure inductance using AC bridges. So there are different bridges that can be used for measurement of inductance. First bridge is our comparison bridge, which is also known as Maxwell inductance bridge. This bridge is known as Maxwell inductance bridge, and this bridge is known as Maxwell bridge or Maxwell capacitance bridge. And this is the our Hayes bridge, and this is the Owens bridge for the measurement of inductance. Different bridges have different advantage and different disadvantages. We will study in next slides. First bridge is comparison bridge or Maxwell inductance bridge, used for the measurement of unknown inductance by comparing it with a known inductance. So here we have an known inductance and one unknown inductance. So similarly, the case as in Wheatstone, we at balance condition, this product R1 and this impedance must be equal to the product of this R2 and L3 R3 impedances. So here Z1 is R1, Z2 is R2, Z3 is this R3 in series with L3, R3 plus j omega L1. This is the impedance of this arm, and Zx is the impedance of this arm which we want to calculate. At balance we will get Z1 Zx is equal to Z2 Z3. So by solving this equation we will get the value of this Rx, R2 R3 by R1, and Lx is equal to R2 L3 by R1. So in this way at balance we can calculate the value unknown value of this Rx and Lx. Advantage: expression for Rx and Lx are simple, equations are simple, they do not depend on frequency as omega is cancelled. Rx and Lx are independent of each other. Disadvantage: variable inductor is costly, variable inductor is very bulky. So these are the advantage and disadvantage of the Maxwell inductance bridge. Second bridge which is used for inductance measurement is Maxwell inductance capacitance bridge. It measures an unknown inductance in terms of a known capacitance, while earlier bridge is used for measurement of unknown inductance using known inductance. So here the difference is we will use known capacitance here. So Z1 is the arm impedance of this arm R1 in parallel with C1. So this is the impedance of this Z1 arm. Z2 arm is impedance is R2, Z3 arm impedance is R3, Zx arm impedance which we want to calculate is Rx, and Rx is Rx plus j omega Lx. And at balance we will get the same condition as earlier, Z1 and Zx is equal to Z2 Z3, product of opposite arm impedance must be equal. So by using some calculation we can find the value of Rx comes out to be R2 R3 by R1, and Lx comes out to be R2 R3 C1. Advantage: equation of Lx Rx are simple, they are independent of frequency as omega is not appeared in calculation of Lx and Rx. They are independent of each other. Lx do not have Rx and Rx equation do not have Lx. Standard capacitor is much smaller in size than standard inductor, so size of circuit becomes small. Disadvantage: standard variable capacitance is very costly. It can be used for measurement of Q factor in the range of 1 to 10. It cannot be used for measurement of choke coils with Q factor more than 10. So this is the advantage of Maxwell capacitance bridge. Next bridge is Hay bridge. Hay bridge is used for measure of an unknown inductance in terms of a known capacitance. So here these are the known capacitance and this we want to calculate. R1 is in series with C1, while in earlier case we have R1 in parallel with C1. So modification of this bridge is known as Hayes bridge. Impedance of Z1, this one, impedance of Z2 R2, Z3 is equal to R3, Zx is which we want to calculate is given here. At balance condition we will get these two equations, R1x plus Lx by C1 is equal to R2 R3, but here Rx depend upon Lx, so we cannot use it for calculation. In second condition, for imaginary part we will get this equation. We have to solve these equations simultaneously, 1 and 2. After solving this equation we can calculate this Rx and Lx by the equation given in these slides. We have to calculate this Rx and Lx. Hayes Bridge measure the inductance in the range 1 microhenry to 100 henry with plus minus 2% error, so it provides its accuracy is very high. Best for measurement of inductance with high quality factor greater than 10, requires very low value of R1 to measure high Q inductance. Advantage: fixed capacitor is cheaper than the variable capacitor. Here we will use fixed capacitor. This bridge is best suitable for measuring high value of Q factors. Disadvantage is equation of Lx and Cx are complicated because we can see here for calculation for Rx and Lx we have complicated expression here. Measurement of Rx and Lx require the value of frequency. Here W term is present, or angular frequency is present in expression of Rx and Lx. This bridge cannot be used for measuring low quality factors. It will not measure accurately inductance of low quality factors. The next bridge is Ohm's bridge. It is also used for measurement of unknown inductance by balancing the loads of its forearms. That means we will get null deflection here, one of which contains the unknown inductance. Suppose we want to calculate this R4 and L1. So this is the impedance of this arm, Z2 is equal to R3, Z3 is equal to this one impedance, Zx is equal to R4 plus j omega L1. At balance we will get Z1 Zx is equal to Z2 Z3, and from this balance equation we can calculate this value R4 and L1 as in the slide. Advantage: the advantage of Ohm's bridge is the balance equations are also quite simple. They have balance equation which are simple as in Wheatstone bridge. Disadvantage: this bridge does not come with additional cost for the variable capacitor. It requires additionally a variable capacitor which produces some extra cost for the bridge. And the last bridge for measurement of inductance is Anderson's bridge. This bridge is very complicated as earlier bridges. This method is applicable for precise measurement of inductances over a wide range of values. So it is used for precise measurement of inductance. So this diagram is somewhat complicated. So here we have an additional arm here, C, through which IC current flows. This I2 current divides into two parts, IC plus I4, this one. At balance, I2 is equal to this, I2 is equal to IC plus I4. VBD is equal to VED. BD is this branch and ED is this branch, as these branches are in parallel. So voltage across this branch must be equal to this branch. VBD is I1 R3, because I1 current goes through R3, is equal to IC current goes through this capacitance. The reactance of capacitance is 1 by j omega C. From this equation we will get the value of IC, which is equal to j omega I1 R3 C. This value is used in further equations. The other balancing equations for the bridge are VAB is equal to VAC plus VCE. AB voltage is equal to AC plus CE. This AB voltage is equal to AC plus this AC plus CE. This means this voltage must be equal to this voltage plus this branch voltage. Similarly, the condition for second balance condition, VCD is equal to VCE plus VED. CD is equal to this CD branch voltage is equal to the CE plus ED. This CE plus ED voltage. From these two balance equation, we will get another expression I1 R1 plus J omega L1 is equal to I2 R2 plus ICR. Similarly, we can calculate here the another balance equation. So we have already calculated the value of IC here. This IC will be put first in this equation 6.20 and then in 6.21 to get another equations IC from 6.19 to 6.20. Then we will get this equation, and if we will put IC from 6.19 to equation 6.21, we will get these equations. So we have two different or new equations here, which are 6.22 equation and 6.23 equation. When we will solve these equations, we get here a somewhat complicated equation which has real part and imaginary part. Equating real and imaginary parts, we will get the value of this R1 and L1 which we want to measure. So these expressions are also complicated, but it can provide you precise value of the inductance. So advantage of Anderson bridge is variable capacitor is not required here. Inductance can be measured accurately because it is used for precise measurement. R1 L1 are independent of frequency, do not have omega term in expression. Accuracy is better than other bridges. And disadvantage of Anderson bridge is expression for R1 L1 are complicated. As I already told you, it has somewhat complicated equations to find R1 and L1. Second is this is not the standard form of AC bridge because it contains another arm which contains this ED branch. So it is not a standard form of the bridge, but it can calculate the value precisely. So this bridge is also can be used for measurement of inductance. Thanks for watching.